So I already picked up the roll bar from Kincer Chassis up in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm gonna give a quick tour of that facility. It's amazing up there. Those guys are flying under the radar kind of, but killing it and doing some really amazing work that really only people in the Bronco and the F100 world even know about, but you should check it out. It's pretty kick-ass.
So we designed this kit to work with any of the stock drive frames as well as 7.3 or 5.0 Coyote stuff.
So this is like hardcore rock crawling, coil spring suspension on all four corners. Just driving like to the beach and stuff, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason not to do it.
Yeah.
Inside the inner body panels?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just right on the edges of the floor. That's killer. Yeah. So this jig is basically set up to make sure that the roll bar fits in each and every
Absolutely.
vintage Bronco.
Yep.
The cool thing about what these guys do with the roll bars is most of the roll bars on these classic Broncos for years and years have had a tube that comes down to the floor in either the passenger side footwell or the driver's side footwell. And when you do that, you have to relocate the glove box door. So the glove box door has to move over 4 inches so that it can open and close. The other thing is you lose the functionality of the vent windows on the trucks, which kind of ruins the old school air conditioning, right? Like I don't have air conditioning on my truck that tops off all the time, but having those vent windows open up blows nice cool air while you're driving on you. It adds to the nice vintage feel of the truck. And so having these roll cages where the front bolts into the upper windshield frame is just amazing. And what's killing me right now about all of these cages right here is just showing you how many classic Broncos are not only on the road right now, but are about to be on the road. Like these guys are just turning this stuff out and it's kind of amazing. And it's such a great setup. I mean, you've already got bungs welded for the seatbelt bolts for the driver and passenger side shoulder harness. And the reason that I sprung for this cage specifically is because it's a family style cage, which means the roll bar goes all the way to the back of the truck and you have rear seat passenger shoulder harnesses as well. So I can finally get rid of the car seats that my kids have been riding around in for years. This is the next step, and this is a pretty superior product.
Tell us about this F100 conversion. Not only it's got Godzilla, which is impressive, but
Yeah, so we really put this together to figure out our conversion for a two-wheel drive frame to make it four-wheel drive. We've seen on the forums for years people saying, just get a four-wheel drive frame. We thought there's got to be a way to do it. So, we took some all the classic frames, got them in the computer, overlaid all our components, sat our engines where we wanted to, and then just kind of built around that. So like I said, this one just ended up with a 7.3. It could have been a 5.0. This has a axle that we put together in-house. You can do 5 lug outers to say like your 150 stuff or 8 lug outers. Right now we're developing a very similar kit that will use Super Duty axles. So frame stuff will all be very similar, be some different coil buckets, some different radius arms, and then you can bolt up Super Duty.
Dude, this is killer. So basically everything orange here is what consists on your conversion kit.
Yeah, so stock in the two-wheel drive, there's this big, huge stamped piece that's the cross member. So basically you just take some torches to it, cut it out, drill out the rivets for the coil buckets, remove them.
Yeah, just like you would for a Crown Vic.
Exactly.
Except this stuff tucks inside the frame rail.
Yeah.
Right?
So as far as what welds on, it's actually just these 2 boxes on the inside of the frame here.
Yeah.
So you put those in, burn them out. They've got spacers to get your spacing right. You got to drill through the frame a little bit for your steering box here. Stock two-wheel drive steering box in the back here. So we put it in the front and we use 78, 79 four-wheel drive steering box.
Yeah, and they're nice and heavy duty too.
Yeah, we're planning to use the same thing on Super Duty. And, on the outside of the frame here, keeps it away from your 7.3, all your front accessory drives. So we designed this kit to work with any of the stock drive frames as well as 7.3 or 5.0 Coyote stuff.
The way that prices on highboys are going these days, this makes a lot of sense. People who want that kind of functionality on F100s,
Right.
This will make a badass truck. And obviously, the Godzilla is just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one we were able to fit the whole Super Duty drivetrain, so Super Duty transmission, transfer case.
What transfer case and transmissions on?
So this one is a 6R140. We could have done a 10R140. They're actually the same package externally, and then just electronically shifted Super Duty transfer case. We designed some custom adapters for standard drive shafts. So right now we're just, making sure everything fits like we want it to. We're developing a kit to use coilovers in the front, checking some trans tunnels on the 372 trucks, a couple different heights, and then
That's right, because they had a different trans for the manual transmissions versus the automatic transmissions were lower, right? Same as 65s.
Exactly right, yep. Then we're going to start looking at the rears a little bit too, some different leaf spring mounts. There's a bunch of different widths of leaf springs. First one, we'll just make it work with stock Super Duty axles for a streamlined conversion.
Check this. So this is like yacht decking. This is the stuff they use on sailboats to replace teak decking. And it's killer stuff because A, it's waterproof, but B, it looks like teak decking with filling. It's really just a rubber mat.
Yeah, just a rubber mat.
It's amazing.
So this stuff you can actually, if you get scuffs in it, you can sand it just like wood and re-add the grain to it. Product called Permateak.
Super smart, man. That's the awesome idea.
Yeah.
And look at this. You got your, not a Tesla charger. This is the standard, oh, look at that. This is brilliant. This is car people stuff right here. Look at that. Just pushes on. You get up there, pull up to your level 3 charger, right next to your Mercedes EQS SUV, EQB SUV. This is so much better because it's just a Bronco and it's electric. So check this out. You got a nice hardy frunk up here. Lay it up, and then you got an extra dance floor right here for racing up.
You do, yeah.
When you pull up front to it.
So this truck will be going to Hawaii, so the thought was throw some boogie boards or something up there.
Oh man, where's it going in Hawaii?
I'm not sure.
You don't know? Oh, that's killer.
So it's got Tesla batteries. Yeah. So that 16 Model S cell, 85 kilowatt hours. But the motor, it's put together by a company called Stealth EV.
Okay.
The Borg Warner cartridge that goes to a little gear reduction unit and then just down to a normal Atlas transfer case.
Yeah, so simple.
So from the transfer case down, it's, our normal Bronco setup, Builder Series frame.
Yeah, it's like people kind of diss the electric motors, but on a truck like this, it's so light.
Right.
It makes perfect sense, especially in an environment where you can get good charging.
Right.
You can get a good fast charger, and you're just driving like to the beach and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense.
Best running and driving Bronco.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're overlanding or like, do long
Right.
distances, like, yeah, keep the V8, put a Godzilla, like, it's all valid.
Definitely,
It's all
definitely.
valid. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a place for everything.
I believe so too. That's killer. The engineering's amazing. When you get
Yeah.
into day, killer work.
Oh, thank you.
This is awesome.
Yeah, we really took on this project to see what it would take to put an electric chassis in production. We kind of taught ourselves that's not the direction we want to go.
There are like one or two people out there doing it,
Yeah.
and they tout it, but until you really see it on the road driving, it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
But
right.
this is killer.
And it's one thing to build one, but it's
Right.
a whole other thing to build 10 or 100. It's a 2.3 EcoBoost. It's a Mustang base. 300 horsepower, 350 torque, 10-speed automatic.
This is cool too because these motors are putting out more power than the 68302.
Oh, yeah.
Or, it's definitely more power than the inline 6.
Oh, yeah.
In the truck originally 1966.
I mean, these are 300 horsepower, so, it's a well-built small bot.
It powers a full size,
Yeah, right.
a family of 5, so
Yeah.
it can power this truck.
Definitely. And I mean, it's still quick,
Yeah,
More top end and the sound is a little off, but it's quick.
as long as you turn Eco Stop Start off,
Yeah, it doesn't have any of that.
it's
Yep, doesn't have any of that.
I've seen people doing these swaps, but this is cool. Are you guys doing any kind of shit for this, or yeah,
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, it's
still work in progress?
yeah, it's mostly in production at this point. We're getting a run of radiators, intercoolers made.
Inline 4 motor, EcoBoost, so it's single turbo, right?
Yep.
Single turbo that's used in the new Broncos and the new Mustangs base model.
Little diesel.
So that's if you want a pulsar, Shane.
Yeah. Oh, it's got all the torque, not a whole lot of power, but I mean, it still powers these really well.
3 different flavors of chassis. They have the classic style, which has the stock style radius arms on it, and the rear leaf springs, and single shock rear mount, right? So single shock, which is all you need if you're using a really good shock, especially like some of these Pops racing and like the cool stuff that they got hanging off these chassis is amazing. Then they have this is coil sprung version, right? So this is like hardcore rock crawling coil spring suspension on all 4 corners. A much upgraded version of the chassis from the classic, which is fully capable. Like most people going to the mall and soccer practice, this is fine. But if you're really going hardcore off-road and having some fun, this is the way to go. And then they've got the coilover, full core custom coilover setup here with, oh yeah, badass and the strange 9-inch rear ends, front and back, custom gear sets. Looks like a front sway bar too. Holy cow. This truck would drive so well at 80 or 90 miles an hour off road. 6-piston Willwoods up front. You're gonna have some big tires on this, 37, 40-inch tires. You wanna be able to stop that rolling weight. 6-piston calipers will get you stopped. That's nice. So the black light is shimmering for each point of inspection on the chassis, right? So everything's torqued. Yeah, I guess you get a red mark and then a blue mark when it's all set. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I was wrong when I said Fox Racing. They're Bilsteins. Killer that has this like built-in shroud to hold the AC condenser. It's just a nice setup. You know, the vintage Broncos never had a sway bar, so having that extra suspension on it just gives you more stable handling at highway speeds. No, this is great. So yeah, so it's got already welded in setups for the rear shoulder harnesses. So we'll probably have to bolt through the floor and maybe even put some extra steel plates on the bottom just to sandwich through the frame. So one thing Kylie just told me too, which is really important, is when we set this frame into the Bronco, we actually want to put the steel hardtop. So this thing's weigh what, 200 pounds?
Yeah,
they're heavy.
right.
Once you bolt all that in and you bolt it down, it actually does put pressure on the front window frame. And so that front frame, it's made to fold down, right? On the old school. So when it's up, before this gets bolted in and before we start drilling holes in the floor of the Bronco, we're gonna go ahead and put the hardtop on to let that front window frame settle. Make sure the doors are sealing right and all that, right? Make sure everything fits right before we start drilling holes again in the floor. Because we only wanna measure twice, cut once, right?
Yeah, whatever it is. So even if you don't use it all the time, but if you ever even think you may possibly use it, I would recommend doing it with it just for
that's a super good note. Yeah, so again, putting the weight of the hardtop on that windshield frame and then lining these bolt holes up first, then setting it up to drill the holes in the floor for the lower plates is the way to go. Pull that nice and tight.
Let's see how that works.
It's not going anywhere.
On the next episode, we do a full install of the family style roll cage from Kincer Chassis. Check it out.